Hello there. Welcome to Always Off Brand, where we try and take e-commerce, simplify it, retail the whole bag of nuts, and we just make it fun. That's what we do. I'm Scott Oshman, one of your co-hosts, and I'm joined by my other co-hosts, one of them, Summer Jubileer.
Hello, hello. So excited for today.
This is this is breaking news. This is absolutely not bending news. This is breaking news. Haley Brucker in the news. Speaking of news, is not here right this second because we have got, this is an exclusive. I don't want to go so far as to say exclusive, but I was told to start the music because we got a new intro for this guy. You're going to see it all over as I bring him to the YouTube stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the brand new, I mean, you can just smell the newness. I mean, it's just fresh. It's fresh out of the box. The Chief Business Development Officer for Skai, coming back to the program, Jeff Cohen.
Well, thank you for that kind intro.
God, it's good. And you're in Chicago. It just feels right.
Yeah, no, it was right on for so many reasons.
So, Jeff, what's up? How you doing? What's new?
Well, you know, just a little change, just a little. I guess I decided that my midlife crisis was all going to happen in the month of August. Send 2 kids off to school, change jobs. Oof. Yeah, you know, so.
Well,
next to buy a house. So that's what they say. Like, you shouldn't do all these things in 1 year. So now you just have to buy a house and just like.
Did you buy a Lamborghini or something? Did you buy a car?
No, the wife stopped me from the car purchase. I definitely thought of one and had a few that I had an eye on, but I was told no on that.
Jeff, you are the GOAT of Amazon ads. How is this happening? How did you make this big change? I mean, I have been following you for over a decade, and when you went to Amazon, this made complete sense. And all of us, like small dudes, were like, "Yeah, he's gonna help bring this all together." Why the big change?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I definitely let me start off by saying thank you, because I carried that as a weight on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. I do carry that as a weight on my shoulder when I was at Amazon, and I did feel, a role that I was representing way more than myself in the conversations and in the meetings that I was at to make sure that both brands and partners had their voices heard throughout. Yeah. You know, when it comes down to it, I think there was two, maybe 3 things that ultimately led to me making the decision. One is that I started this year very similar to a lot of other people, just trying to figure out, like, what is AI? What does it mean for me personally? What does it mean for our industry? Where are we headed? And I actually covered a lot of it on my LinkedIn post as I started to explore, like, using AI to plan trips, using AI to do my books, my accounting, just starting to dive deep into what is this and how's it going to impact our lives.
Yeah.
The second was really starting to look at, like, the industry and really trying to understand who's doing what in our space and, what type of change can that, like, foster in the short term and in the long term. And, through that journey, I recognized a lot of the AI noise that's out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if you guys have realized, but every website is, now, right. They're all AI positioned. Everybody is, AI driven.
Don't go to a conference, Jeff, because every booth in the conference has AI. And you're like,
well, it's not only that, but they're all using the terms and they're using them incorrectly. Yeah. And then I started to kind of see some of our partners, and I started to see what was coming down the pipeline, both from Amazon and the technology they were developing, and our partners and the technology they were developing. And, like, not to sound cheesy, but when I saw what Skai was building with their Celeste tool, I had, like, my first jaw drop moment.
Yeah.
And I finally saw something in my mind that was much more tangible and usable by a brand or by a CMO to understand their business. And what I think actually was more interesting than what they were building, it was how they got to the point that they're at, right? The year and a half of work they had done to get it to that point. But much more to me was the roadmap and the vision of where they wanted it to go. And it really aligned with myself and where I thought this industry was headed. And I had always kind of kept in the back of my mind that if I saw transformational change that really excited me, I wanted to jump back into the tech side of the space, because I'm a kind of a tech geek at heart.
I was just going to say, again, I've had the pleasure of knowing of you and then knowing you for, I don't know how long. You started as a seller. Technology has always interested you with Seller Labs, all the things you built there. And then, right. I mean, that's kind of been your jam.
It is. And a lot of what I built at Seller Labs, and even what I was involved in building, even though I wasn't on the product side at Amazon, was always about helping to translate the technical jargon to the actual practical application, right? Because Summer, this on a daily basis, like you're trying to run a business, you need tools that are actually helping you be more efficient, more effective, make better decisions, measure those decisions. And, there's a lot of technology out there that is good. But every once in a while you just see something and it makes you just say, wow, this is something I believed in. If you had my kids on, maybe one day that'd be a really fun episode. Have my kids come on.
Let's do it. I'm in.
They would tell you, like, I've been diving into AI for so long and trying to understand it. I'm almost annoying to them. And yeah, I mean, I think that's really where it was. I just saw the industry moving in a transformational way, and Skai kind of leading with some, industry leading, now award-winning technology that just, I couldn't hold out anymore.
So again, just real quick before we get into all the cool stuff, because I like this. I was on the retail side and selling to retailers, whatever, got sucked into Amazon, but then I came kind of really Amazon focused. And the thing I like about my role the last 5 years is I'm not completely Amazon. I'm seeing all the worlds converge with paid social, paid search. We're following the customer. And so I kind of said to you on yours, because I was one of 8 billion people who commented on your post. I think I'm excited for you because you're in a position now where you really get to see and have that view standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon of all these moving parts.
Yeah, and listen, I had that view at Amazon. I just always would kind of report on Amazon's place within that view, right?
You told us, Jeff. You never talked about us. Come on.
But at the end of the day, we've been saying that the shopper journey is not linear for too long, right? And we all know it. And if you sit down and you talk to a 14-year-old around how they are discovering and buying products, it's using applications like TikTok and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Maybe they're telling their parents to go buy it on Amazon, but if they had a credit card, they would just be buying it probably on TikTok. And so ultimately, brands need to place themselves where consumers are discovering, and brands need to be able to measure and use the signals across the platform. And then, as we all know, the investment in one channel is driving activity on another channel. And so 100%. All of those things are super exciting and part of that overall convergence that I was kind of alluding to.
And do you think you created the role? Sorry, Summer, just really quickly on the Amazon side. So I believe you created the role. I don't think there was anybody, to my knowledge, doing what you did there. Is that correct?
At Amazon.
I think there was technically, my boss had an evangelist title, but he wasn't doing it in the way that I was. He was more on the developer tech side.
Well, God bless anybody who's going to step into those shoes. I don't know if they're going to tackle that or not, but
we should take a poll of who we think they'd pick.
Well, I don't know. I got the question when somebody sent me, because they saw your post, saying, I wonder if somebody's going to fill that role or not. Or
well, listen, Amazon's a big company. Amazon survived before me. They'll survive after me.
No,
I don't know. Their ad numbers were pretty high when you walked away.
But listen, at the end of the day, I believe, of course, I believe this. I believe that Amazon needs a humanistic voice to what they're doing.
Yeah.
I do think that, listen, if we look back over the last few years, Amazon has put more of their leaders forward, right? Kelly McLean is speaking at events. Jay Richmond is speaking at events. Even Paul Kotis is going on stage, right? So they are working to put more of their leaders out there and in front of people. If they were to rehire, my position the way that I was doing it, I would be the first one to want to help them be successful. But I don't anticipate that they'll have a evangelist job description out on their job board.
Wait, are we done with the ass kicking part? Because I was gonna just, again, incredible. I've told you this to you. I've seen you. I've told you this in messaging, right? You did an unbelievable job bridging the gap and putting a humanistic side to it, which is what everybody, all sides of the equation needed. So,
yeah, because listen, on the other side, like Amazon's a very difficult enigma to figure out from the outside, and so even if you just have somebody who's giving you a little bit of insight to understand that this is how things work, or it's not as planned as you want to believe that it's planned, right? Or something like that. It's just helpful when somebody speaks kind of honestly and truthfully. And, listen, I'll put it here on the record. I am internally grateful to Amazon by the fact that they allowed me to have my own voice and they never tried to restrict my voice. And I think that's why everybody felt that I was genuine in what I was doing and what I was saying, because Amazon created an environment where I could be that way. And so I wasn't sure when I took the job that would be possible. And I'm grateful that it was.
All right, let's move forward. That's in the past. Looking at your new role, I was surprised to see where you went, because you just hear a lot of buzz about AI taking jobs. You keep hearing about this. What does AI mean for media agencies? Because you also hear a buzz of like, do we need a media agency? If we're going to have this AI technology that can tell us where to put our dollars, what bids to do, where does the value come from the agency?
Yeah, I think it's going to come in twofold. One, I think that what we're discovering around AI is that the promise and the delivery are two different things. A human in the loop is necessary.
Dude, I'm sorry.
He's going for the buzzer.
No, you're right. It can now. I love the headlines. Okay, I love all the headlines. Oh, we're getting rid of 4,000 people, and then they're like, "Oops, it didn't do exactly what we said it was gonna do."
Yeah,
come on, man. Like,
well, listen, I think you're gonna make the investment, and you're going to initially look for operational efficiency gains, right? And so, can the people that are doing the job today take on 20% more effort, 30% more effort without having to add headcount? I think that's where you're going to see the initial piece of this come in. I think in the long run, you're going to see it to where intelligent practitioners are going to be able to get it to think in the way that they think, in the way that they want to run ads, run more scenarios than you've ever been able to run before on your own. And, to use an Amazon term, you're going to be able to use AI to like look around corners and understand, I'll use Summer's brand as an example, but you're having a spike in sales and you're trying to understand what SKU is driving that spike, or what campaign, or what pricing change. There's so many variables that can impact that.
Yeah.
When you're using AI, you can actually look at all the different scenarios and understand, if I change my price, if I increase my brand dollars, these are the projected outcomes of what's going to happen. But today, maybe not in the future, today, you still need that human in the loop that can look at that detail information to say, does this make sense? Is this what I want to do with my business? How do I run a test and learn on it and go and execute it? I don't know that we are at a point where it's black box.
Yeah.
I just want everything to be ran. I think we could get there with a comfort level, but that's not where we're at today.
Let's do your first Skai pitch. Okay, Jeff. I mean, you got this big job. You're the head guy now. You're running things. You're going to go get some business. What does this mean? Take the AI, take agentic, take the $100 billion investment in Amazon, all this different stuff that we all see in the buzz on. What does Skai do? Where does agencies fit? I mean, what are you doing here? What's the Skai solution? I know Celeste. I looked at the website. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, all tools and all selling is around problem solving and solution selling. It's not around pitch selling. So it's about understanding what your challenges that you're having as a consumer or as an agency. And then it's about aligning the tool to see if it meets those needs. I'm not trying to give you a Glenn Ross, basics of selling class, but like
A, B, C. A always be B, C closing. Always be closing.
In my mind, it's not about a 30-second elevator pitch.
No, I know.
It's about brands who are selling omni-channel and want to have an understanding of what's going on, not just in a single channel of commerce, but across search, social, and commerce. And be able to measure the impact of each of those channels and then add globalization to that. So being able to see it at the different regional levels, that's the problem that we're solving for.
Listen, I wanted you to go further down into omni-channel, because what Scott and I say all the time on the AOB is silos equal sadness. And for so long, it's been, you have your Walmart, you have your drug, you have your grocery, you have Target, you have Amazon. All the data stays separate. All the sales are separate. What are the advantages of bringing all of this data together?
Yeah, when you're talking about fragmented data, like you've got fragmented data is going to ultimately lead to fragmented decisions. I mean, that's what
that's a good quote.
That's what it kind of comes down to. And
we didn't even mean to give you a juicy nugget, listener, and we did.
That's what it's coming down to. And then you want to see that omni-channel impact. And Summer, it's easy to talk about the big ones, right? The Amazons, the Walmarts, but like for your brand, there's a lot of niche retail sites that you're in or that you need to be in that are where your product, can be acquired. So it's also meeting the shoppers where they are and not just trying to focus on single channels, which is, when you say like, what does it mean for agencies? What does it mean for brands? It ultimately means the same for everyone. And at the end of the day, those are the challenges that brands that are scaling have, and the questions that they need answers. And, asking intelligent questions like about investments or about return on investments or brand growth. What if you have, superior growth happening at CVS that you're not seeing at Target? Like you need to know that within your omni-channel mix to understand that you might want to shift some ad dollars around.
Right. I love that.
I mean, if you guys can solve, the other thing is now, I mean, there's some really interesting stuff happening within these retail media may be overblown a little bit, but the stuff that DoorDash is doing, CVS, I actually got to meet the lady who runs that. They're doing some interesting stuff there that is very, not just last touch. It's not just closed loop. It's very, they have some huge first party data there. So now, Jeff, oh my God, you can see it all.
Well, I saw it all, but I think like we didn't even talk about Costco, right? Costco is a major player in all this too. And so it's about ultimately one of the things that Amazon has done, I'll say recently, meaning in the last like 2 years, is made all of us as marketers really realize the value of signals, right? And how to use both the signals that we're getting from our retail media channels, as well as the signals that we have within our first party data to really triangulate the customers that we're trying to reach and then measure the impact of which signals are doing what. And it's allowing brands to understand what are their true, growth levers in their business, what products are leading to longer lifetime value,
Yeah.
Which channels are leading to longer lifetime value? Maybe you pick up a customer because of CVS, but then they are making all their subsequent purchases on Walmart, right? You have to have that omni-channel view to ultimately understand not just where you want to put your investment dollars, but where you want to put your retail efforts as well. At the end of the day, and I said this when I was at Amazon, like advertising is great, and Amazon deserves all the credit for the growth of advertising that they get, but you got to have your retail mix set
100%.
because then advertising becomes that accelerator to your growth.
Well, you need to look at consumer overlap too. If you're advertising at CVS and at Amazon, how much consumer overlap is there? There might only be 10%. So you're getting a whole new audience by targeting these other smaller, I don't want to call CVS small because they're not, but these other channels. And I think that's so important that brands tend to overlook because there's louder players in the game.
What if you're talking about Dollar General, which is
I was just thinking of Dollar General. That's so
why are you both thinking about Dollar General?
They have 20,000 stores, Summer, and they're growing like a freaking weed. It's insane to me.
Let me tell you, as someone who might be on social media a little bit more than two of you, I just saw a post about someone who took some NyQuil from Dollar General, and they're like, I'm seeing things. I just like outer body experience. And then like all these people are posting all the crazy stuff that they've bought at Dollar General, and they're like wicked.
The power of Reddit and Dollar General right now is underspoken about.
Yeah. I mean, you say why Dollar General, because Dollar General is in a lot of these cities where they don't have a CVS and they don't have a Walgreens. These smaller towns, and listen,
you can advertise on them.
They have signals. If they have retail data, I'm new to all this, Summer. I'm just saying.
I'm like, isn't Dollar General where you send your stuff that's about to expire?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know, but it's another retail channel.
Okay, we got to switch to my. I'm sorry.
Where I would have been nervous if I was at Amazon and I went down this path. I'd be like, "What am I talking about? Now I'm in trouble." But this is where when Scotty O said, "What are you excited about?" These are the types of things I'm now excited about, because these are the avenues I can go and explore and I can learn. I'm gonna go figure this out. And
but I also want to push back a little bit on this Dollar General that y'all are saying, because there is I'll get off this soapbox in just a second. But there is what Scott and I, very first pod we ever did, our very favorite saying is the cost of distraction. If you've got 10 minutes to work on something, should I be working on optimizing my bigger channel or optimizing Dollar General?
Yep.
Well, again, these are smaller format. There's 20,000 doors. Walmart has 5,500 doors. I mean, you just have to look at the sheer size of it if it's right for you. Let's move on from Dollar General.
And just because AI is awesome, Dollar General does have the DG Media Network, which is the Dollar General Media Network. So
damn it, Jeff, I'm getting on Dollar General tomorrow.
Hold on, I'm looking at your partners. I'm trying to see if you have DG on here.
I don't even know. Hopefully Skai has Dollar General. Otherwise, I'm really going to be in trouble.
If you don't after this, you will.
Prioritize it. We're going to prioritize it.
Summer has to go. Can we get to my favorite topic, Jeff, that you and I talk about when I see you? I get to see you. Do you have to leave, Summer?
No, I pushed this out for 10 minutes, but I want to get to my question. So if you're going to go on this long tangent.
Yes, as usual.
Well, this is selfish. So
of course it is. It is.
I moved over to just be focusing on media, which has been so fun. But as we talked about earlier with AI and people are losing jobs, what is happening to media buyers? What do you see happening to media buyers as we see like commerce and streaming combining? Like, where are we headed with the unified shoppable media buyer?
I know it was only for you, but that was actually a decent question.
Thanks, Nathan.
I think we're still entering the point of massive opportunity, even if it might be scary as what the future down the road looks like. And, I think that there's opportunity across, there's a lot of brands today that are struggling to understand how brand investment drives performance. Right. And so when there was an interesting poll on LinkedIn that somebody did that was like, 70% of people are already using Amazon's DSP. And I said, well, if you ask the question in a different way, you'd get a different answer. This is for my own annotation, which is how many people are using Amazon's DSP to do true brand building?
Yeah.
Right?
How much are doing remarketing and retargeting? Like
correct. Because if you think back in the early days of Amazon DSP, that was the only way to do remarketing and retargeting, and everybody was using back doors to get access to it just so they could do that. And I think like building true brand that drives performance marketing is still a tough art, and it's because there's so many silos within the organizations. The budgets sit within different orgs. The search budget and the brand budget and the media budget all sit somewhere different, and this convergence of understanding how all of them come together is going to ultimately change organizational structure. That's like one of we're seeing it, and really good brands that are bringing those silos together internally in their organization are then not competing for dollars. They're actually moving dollars where they perform best.
Where it works. Yeah, exactly. All right. I feel better about my role.
Okay, good. I am with you, Jeff. I think there's tremendous opportunity. And part of that is the streaming. Let's talk about the streaming.
There's a kid who's got a whole TikTok following just teaching people Italian words.
Really?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Mozzarella, parmigiano tu, fior di latte, I love you.
There you go. Get your Yiddish channel.
Italian or Yiddish? I can go
Italian. You can do Yiddish. He does
do Yiddish. I can do You
gotta get down.
Okay, so I love the sports thing. It's the NFL season. You're seeing all these deals. There's a lot of different public knowledge out there as far as the reach and Netflix. And then you just told us today that Amazon announced publicly they've now will publish using Netflix, RD, Roku, Disney. I mean,
Bing really dropped the ball.
What?
Just throwing that out there. Bing really dropped the ball.
Bing.
They had Netflix. Bing, you guys are talking freaking Dollar General. I'm bringing up Microsoft Bing. They had the exclusive to sell on Netflix.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Yeah. The rest of Bing.
We've talked about sports. I'm going to bring us back here. We've talked about sports. We've talked about this in great detail in past episodes. One thing that I find really interesting is watch the types of ads that are on sports today versus the types of ads that were on sports a year ago.
1,000%. I did an entire presentation on that.
Yeah, they're buying into it. It's you're seeing the challenger brands, but you're also seeing these more established brands buying into the streaming television piece. Not to mention, you're seeing, what Peacock is now running sports. They're all seeing what Amazon has done with Thursday Night Football, and they're copying, for lack of a better term. Maybe they're innovating in their own way, but we're seeing there is nothing that brings somebody to the couch.
Yeah.
Like live sports,
or
right? We grew up with Thursday night must-see TV.
I can't say it any better. There is nothing that brings us together like live sports anymore.
Yeah. And like that's what we need to lean into if we want to if we want the linear TV experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My wife was sitting on the couch last night. She's like, let's watch something. We quickly went to, we quickly went to Netflix, and we went to Prime, and then we went to Netflix. We looked at the different shows available.
And then it was time for bed.
We did the same thing.
And we picked a show. Like, that's how we.
Oh, what show? Can you tell us what show?
That catfish phone number.
Unknown number.
The more friends you have, the easier it is to be betrayed by them.
Wild. I just watched that.
Scary.
Too.
Yeah.
Scary. Cuckoo.
Yeah. Like,
I don't like that stuff. I saw that one. I swipe right or whatever you do. I click right.
I think it's left, sweetheart.
Oh, down? I think it's down on my program. But the point here is, let me bring it back, Jeff. What I am so fired up about is because the streaming and it's going to commoditize what was just not available to smaller mid-sized brands. The big guys are going to switch, but I believe the inventory is going to be like nothing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm fired up about that.
Yeah. You're going to see within the DSP, what's going to happen is brands are going to pick a primary DSP. They always have. And they're going to do that based on the deals that they get, whether it's the upfront deal or whatnot. Summer's probably entering that season shortly. And, that's going to drive where they're making their investments. And then they're going to also look at, doing sponsorships, right? Like doing an exclusive, doing a halftime show and tying this all back together, back to the performance marketing that's played off of the signals that you had before. And what that really means for brands is expanding your reach. And like, to grow global brands, you need more reach. And then you need to drive those reach down to baskets.
I mean, I couldn't end it better than that. I mean, my goodness. Anything else, Jeff, we didn't reach here? I'm excited for you. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited as well. And, I will still be on the road. If you see me out and about, stop me, say hi. I still am a believer in face-to-face communication and contact. And, that's what I'm most excited about, is just kind of sharing what's new and what's exciting and where this space is going and how that's going to impact brands most importantly, in a measurable way.
I'm excited for you, Jeff. I'm happy for Skai. Your stamp of approval speaks volumes. You talk to every agency there is, and this says a lot about their software and where they're headed. So congrats to them as well.
Thank you. I'll have our SDR reach out to you.
I can't thank you enough for coming on the program with this big breaking news. I mean, this just hit the public eyeballs just yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll have this out. Appreciate you coming on. Always great to see you, talk to you. And until next time, we love talking to you. Why, Summer?
Because people matter, and you are listening to Always
Brand.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.